Welcome back everybody to the channel. It's me, Alejandro Mendoza, or the Nerd Chicano. Either way how you say it, it's all good here. And we're back again for another video as we continue our journey through Martin Scorsese's World Cinema Project Volume 3. And today we're going to be looking at the next film in this set. After last week's video on After the Curfew, today we're going to be discussing from Brazil, Pixote. Thank you all so much for the love on the last videos. It really does mean a lot to me. And of course, we are just going to be continuing on with this journey. I hope you all have been enjoying the talk about these last couple films. And we are at the middle point of the box set. The next three are going to be the last three in the set. But so far, I have been enjoying our little discussions on Martin Scorsese's World Cinema Project Volume 3. Don't forget, if you enjoy content about physical media, movies, TV, and all of that wonderful stuff, then this is a channel for you. Subscribe to it, click the notification bell so you don't miss a single video that drops on the channel, and leave a like on this video right now because it helps out a lot. And if you want to lend an extra helping hand, go over to patreon.com/nerdchicano and check out the tiers. We have early access to videos just like this one and exclusives like video essays. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the review. Pixote comes in at spine number 1047 in the Criterion collection. It is a film from Brazil that was released in 1980. And I'm going to go ahead and read this little introduction on the back and then tell you all about the special features in here. And then we're going to go in from there. With a blend of harsh realism and acting humanity, Hector Babenco's international breakout, Pixote offers an electrifying look at youth fighting to survive on the bottom ring of Brazilian society, and a stinging indictment of the country's military dictatorship and police. In a heartbreaking performance, Fernando Ramos da Silva plays a young boy who escapes a nightmarish reformatory only to resort to a life of violent crime, even as he forms a makeshift family with some fellow outcasts. So this includes a new restored 4K digital transfer overseen by the World Cinema Project in collaboration with the Cineteca di Bologna, with uncompressed monumental soundtracks on the Blu-ray. New introduction to the film by World Cinema Project founder Martin Scorsese. Excerpts from an interview with Pixote director Hector Babenco recorded in 2016 for the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences Visual History Program collection. And a US release prologue for Pixote created by Babenco. So that's all that is included in this, and of course this is the front, this is the back, this is the spine, and then this is the inside with the two DVD discs and the Blu-ray. You already know how this looks like on the first video that we did for this set. You got to see all that, but just a nice little refresher. And yeah, that's all that's included special features wise, and that is the introduction to Pixote, a film by Hector Babenco. So unlike last week's video talking about After the Curfew and describing how it was really my introduction into Indonesian cinema, and today we're looking at a film from Brazil, this is a country that I at least know a little more about their cinema compared to last week with Indonesia. I've seen City of God, I've seen Bacurau, and I know that there's other films that I've seen from Brazil. I'm blanking at it at the top of my head at the moment. But Brazil is a country that at least I know a little more about compared to last week, where I had no idea about how the cinematic language of and the artists that make up that industry there work. So I was really interested in being able to check this out and really dissect this very interesting movie that is made during a very crucial part of Brazilian history. I watched the introduction from Martin Scorsese as well. I also watched the prologue made by Babenco for the US audience and thought that both of those were really good, interesting information to give for the film. I found that the way that we were kind of shown the poverty and the extent of that street life within those within the prologue really helped kind of put you into the atmosphere of what this movie was going to be. And I can say that after watching this film, I really liked it. I think that this is a very effective movie that doesn't concern itself with playing it safe. It's very rough. It is very ragtag. It's very brutal in what it wants to showcase. And it's very, very bleak. Like, there's moments in here where it really doesn't feel like there's a ray of hope. And usually that isn't something that really catches my eye. And in this one, it was the same effect to me, where I just kept watching and feeling like any moments, maybe some of these characters are gonna snap. But what really stood out was the fact that a lot of these characters are living in the reality that they've always known, and pushing to want to do better and want to become better as they keep being brought down by the little things that affect them in society. It's a very interesting examination of class, poverty, about war, and about the social hierarchy, especially in Latin America. The pacing isn't perfect, but I can tell you that I was really impressed with the thematic elements and what Babenco is trying to say within Pixote. And I think that that's really what stands out the most on this watch, is that I was able to really grasp this examination of Brazilian society in the 80s, and especially, children's upbringing in this society at the time. And that's really something that I was really, really drawn to within the film. I can also say that the cinematography looks great. The music and the sound editing worked really well as well. I can ultimately say that I was left really impressed by Hector Babenco's Pixote, and I was just drawn so much to these aspects of the film, and especially the performances by Da Silva, who I learned later that he died at the hands of the Brazilian police after like a shootout or something. And yeah, I felt so connected to this character in the story, and how much of this life was probably really accurate to what Da Silva went through in real life. Now let's talk about the restoration. So I watched this film on my Panasonic 4K player on my TCL 4K TV, and I was really interested in getting to watch this film because when it starts, it of course gives you those notes about the transfer. And I saw that there was extensive work being done on the digital restoration side to remove mold and stuff like that, where there was like 3 different reels where the mold was really present in there, so they had to oxidize it and work to really remove that from the print. And I've got to say that this restoration is beautiful. I mean, this movie really plays well on my TV. Of course, like I said, I'm playing it on a 4K player, so this Blu-ray disc is going to have a little bit more of enough scaling, right? So that meant that the colors were going to pop more on my screen, and they were able to look a little more defined, right, with the resolution. And I've got to say that I was a really big fan of this transfer and how it played out. I was drawn to the color palette that was presented throughout this film. The regrading did a great job to bring out more of those hues. And even though it's not the most vibrant film, it's very muted at times, it still has a way of standing out. And that really goes to show you the amount of work that was put in on this transfer to make sure that it looked presentable, for one, but also that it felt like it brought new life into the film. And that's honestly one of the biggest standouts restoration-wise, is that it looks really well done with the transfer, but it feels new. It feels like it was probably recorded yesterday, and it feels like a movie that probably will stand that test of time because of restorative work like this. Now, the audio sounds pretty good too. I really didn't have any problems with that. This Modern Euro soundtrack does a pretty good job at being able to understand the dialogue and really hear for the sound effects and the music with the score. Everything pretty much works well. I can't say that I was ever disappointed by the audio. I was drawn to it. Of course, the audio isn't perfect. There is still a little bit of scratching. It still sounds rough, but that's mostly due to where it was filmed and at the time it was filmed, and probably the technology. I know that the transfer notes also talked about there was mold that needed to be peeled off as well with oxidation. So, there's just that stuff that goes into the restoration that is probably going to leave some effects on it. But Other than that, I really don't have anything bad about to say about the audio. I think that it works well, it sounds good, it's nothing like an Atmos, it's not a DTS:X, but it does work for what it is, and because of that, I highly recommend this restoration and this film, because this was a really good movie paired with a really good video and audio restoration. I mean, I'm really interested to see more from Hector Babenco if they're available, or if the World Cinema Project has put out more of his films. When it comes to Pixote, I was really impressed, and I've got to say that it's one of those films in this box set that might rank up there as my favorite in this box set. Of course, if you want to follow me on social media, make sure you follow me at The Nerdy Chicano on Instagram, Twitter, Serialized, Letterboxd, Twitch, and on TikTok. Check out all those platforms. Let's talk about movies and let's get to know each other some more. Check me out on The Nerdcore by going to our website, thenerdcore.com, our YouTube and our Twitch at The Nerdcore. Pretty much same stuff on everything, y'all. Just check that out because we're doing a lot of cool stuff and it would be nice to see you all in chat over there. Next week, we're going to continue with this box set, but in the meantime, it's been a lot of fun. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know in the comments if you've seen this film. What do you think about it? And what's your favorite film to come out of Brazil? To my wonderful cinephiles and renowned scholars, celebrate the love of cinema today, tomorrow, and every day after. Catch you all on the next one, guys. Bye-bye.